today we're going to solve more trig equations. Now, the nice thing on this section, notice at the top, it says to solve from 0 to 2 pi. That means we are not looking for answers off of the unit circle, only on the unit circle. So we don't need the 2 pi k. We're no need to find all the solutions. But we will actually have more than one answer. Now, the first thing I notice is that I have a lot going on. So we're going to be using some of our formulas here. So you might want to grab your formula chart. And I see this formula and I'm like, oh gosh, it's that cosine and cosine and sine and sine. So I am looking for something that has cosine, cosine, sine, sine. Well, I'm looking at these addition and subtraction formulas, and I kind of see that over here. Now, it has a minus sign in between it, so it is this one right here. It's cosine of x plus y. Now, in our case, that's going to be x plus 3x. So I'm going to have cosine of x plus 3x. Or cosine of 4x. Now, this is kind of interesting because we have that 4 in front. Now, normally, we had 2 answers, right, around the unit circle. We had 2 answers. This 4x means I'm going to have 4 times that. So I'm going to have a lot of solutions. So what I like to do is first start with cosine of 4x, so whatever this is, equals 0. Well, when would we equal 0? Okay, so when cosine equals 0, that's our x values. That would be at pi over 2 or 3 pi over 2. But I told you we're going to have 4 times the number of answers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take what's in here and I'm going to set it equal to the first answer choice, pi over 2. And then the next answer choice. And guess what? I'm going to have, how many am I going to have? Normally we have 2. We are going to have 8 answer choices. So the next one I would hit would be 5 pi over 2. So I'm actually having to go around the circle 4 times. Now, your first thought may be, well, miss, these answers, 5 pi over 2 and 7 pi over 2, they are not between 0 and 2 pi. No, they're not. But when I solve for x, they will be. For example, I'm going to go ahead and finish out listing all 8. So the next one would be 9 pi over 2. The next one would be 11 pi over 2. Next one would be 13 pi over 2. And the next one would be 15 pi over 2. If I actually solve for x, I'm going to divide by 4. So pi over 2 divided by 4 is going to give me and I'm going to do this in a different color, it's going to give me the answer pi over 8. This would give me 3 pi over 8. 5 pi over 8. 7 pi over 8. Now notice 7 pi over 8, that's not even a pi. So we're definitely on the unit circle, just smaller than what we have. So this would be 9 pi over 8, 11 pi over 8, 13 pi over 8, and 15 pi over 8. Now notice that actually is between 0 and 2 pi, because 2 pi would be 16 over 8. This next one, we have sine, cosine, cosine, sine. So sine, cosine, minus cosine, sine. Sine, cosine, minus cosine, sine. So this is the sine of the difference. So this is going to be the sine. Let me switch back colors. Sine of the difference equals the square root of 3 over 2 in this case. So sine of the difference, we get sine of x. Oh, that's awesome. Since this is not a double or a triple angle, this is a single angle, that means we are going to only have 2 answers. Yay! So x equals, when do my y value equals square root of 3 over 2? Pi over 3 and 2 pi over 3. Cosine 7x plus cosine 3x. Okay, cosine plus a cosine, cosine plus a cosine, cosine plus a cosine. Here it is. So cosine plus a cosine is going to be 2 times cosine of them added divided by 2 and then here it was, cosine of the difference divided by 2. So that's 10x divided by 2. This is cosine of 5x times cosine of 2x. Now we have 2 factors. Oh, what does it equal? I'm sorry, I forgot that. Equals 0, equals 0. Okay, so we're going to set each factor equal to 0. All right, so we are going to have 10 answers and 4 answers. All right. So when do we equal 0? Okay, so that was at pi over 2 or 3 pi over 2, right? So cosine of 5x, because if I solved, I would get cosine of 5x equals 0. We have pi over 2 and the other one was 3 pi over 2. Well, if I divide by 5, let me just kind of talk through this. I get pi over 10 and 3 pi over 10. What do you think the next one would be? Five pi over 10, 7 pi over 10, 9 pi over 10, 11 pi over 10, 13 pi over 10. It's all odd numbers. Isn't that interesting? 15 pi over 10, 17 pi over 10. How do I know when I'm going to quit? First off, I'm going to quit when I get 10. Twice that number. Also, if I went any further, I pass up 2 pi. 2 pi would be 20 divided by 10. So this is all 10 of those solutions. Now let's try the one with the cosine of 2x. Well, let's see, 2x equals pi over 2, or 2x equals 3 pi over 2. Well, if I take the first one, divide by 2, I'm going to get pi over 4 is one of my solutions. The next one would be 3 pi over 4. 5 pi over 4. And 7 pi over 4. Two sine of 3 theta minus 1. Okay, so I'm going to get sine by itself. I'm going to add 1 over. And now I'm looking for when sine is 1/2. Okay, so sine of 3 theta equals 1/2. So I'm going to take 3 theta and set it equal to the ones from the unit circle. So 1/2, sine is my y value. So we've got pi over 6. And the next one would be 5 pi over 6. When I divide by 3, I'm going to get pi over 18. The next one's 5 pi over 18. Now this one's a little trickier because on here we had pi over 2 and 3 pi over 2, so they were kind of consecutive. These are not. So this is going to be a little bit trickier. But let me see if I can explain it in a way that would be helpful if I'm adding my next one. Okay, so normally we'd add 2 pi to get the next one. But remember, I divided by 3 to get the pi over 18. So what I'm going to actually add isn't just 2 pi. Hold on, we would normally add 2 pi. I'm going to convert that. What I'm going to add is 2 pi over 3. Well, let's see where those would land, because I need to have a common denominator. Oh, no. Okay, so 6 times 6, that'd be 12 pi over 18. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 12 pi over 18 and I'm going to get my next one. So my next one is 13 pi over 18. My next one here, if I add 12 pi over 18, is going to be 17 pi over 18. So there's my next two. How many do I need? I need 6. Okay, so add 12 pi over 18 again, and we get 25 pi over 18. Add 12 pi over 18 again, and I get 29 pi over 18. Now I've got all 6. Now the last ones are a little bit easier. These are just in the calculator. So what we would do is we want to make sure we're going between 0 to 2 pi, and we need to make sure we are in radians. Be in radians. Be in radians, then go to equations. So when it says to do it in the calculator, then we're not having to worry about our unit circle. We are going to go to, I'm in degrees. I'm going to go to my settings first, change that to radians, and then I'm going to go back to this, I'm going to go to equations. I'm going to delete out whatever's there, and then I'm going to type in 7 sine 2x, close the parentheses, equals 0.3. Now I'm going to go to solve the equation. It's going to give me a whole bunch. Lots and lots of them. I don't want all of those. I just want the ones from 0 to 2 pi. And it gave me 4 answers. Now, it makes sense that it would give me 4 answers because there was a 2x there. And I would go at least 3 decimal spaces, so 0.021, 1.549, 3.163, and 4.691. And that's all you have to do on each one of these.